Good morning. I was called yesterday and I'm just getting to it today to do a reading specifically for the next couple of weeks. I've had this inclination, this insight that starting tomorrow, actually the 20th, and potentially all the way to the end of the month, but specifically to the 28th, that there's going to be an awful lot of shifting happening. I know right now that there's a sense of fast movement. It keeps coming up even on readings that I'm doing, personal readings that I'm doing for people, that things are just boom, 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 boom. And it's a little overwhelming. And it's causing glitches in communications. And I know, whoops, there's our first card. And I know that there's a retrograde in action. And we all know how retrogrades affect people. I think it's at Pisces, if I understood what somebody told me. So that would explain a couple of things, the high emotions, and it would also explain the heightened sensitivities, the psychic, intuitive abilities and capacities that people may be feeling. I am also sensing that there is a high activation level for many, for the pineal gland, or more specifically the pineal chakra. And even if you're already considered or see yourself or maybe other people as, you know, that sensitive or that intuitive and highly developed, there's going to be sparks seen. Because we, as in this form that we're in now, the human form, there's some real limitations. So we're going to continually challenge and continually be activated and upgraded and all of that. Whatever verbiage appeals to you, but know that there's action. Second card. Remember, inversion in my readings is opportunity for lessons, learning, and growth. Wow. So that just confirmed everything that I just said about the upgrades and feeling like out of balance and wonky. I'll start the reading, but man, whoops, I just had another card fall. Oh, Shazam. Yeah, struggle. So these three cards have already confirmed what I was just kind of chatting about. This is the situation. This is how we're feeling, or this is us in the situation as it is right now, and will be for the next 10 days, 2 weeks, I would say. And this is the result of, you know, the situation, how we're feeling. Yeah, we're kind of struggling. Yeah. Okay, so Queen of Bows. So the Queen suggests that this is a female energy based, that there is a whole somewhat high alert happening with the feminine divine. Bows suggests that the feminine divine is on high alert, not only high alert, but also the igniter. Hair medicine or rabbit medicine is a very highly attuned, sensitive, somewhat at times overly sensitive medicine. when it's out of balance, you can definitely feel ungrounded, uncertain, feel like you're spiraling. I've heard many people mention that they feel like they're spiraling out, that they can't really gain their footing. And it is predominantly women that I speak to, so I'm not saying that men are not feeling this, because I know for a fact personally that they are. The men in my family have been completely feeling it. They potentially process it or sense it a little bit differently, but yeah, nobody goes through this at this point without having some kind of level of awareness or shift happening. So she's on alert. She's it's a protective mode too. So she's on alert. You know, rabbits, when they're giving out a warning, they do the thump, right? So she's prepared. She's prepared to do that. And don't be surprised in the next couple of weeks that doesn't come into fruition, that there won't be a very rapid influx of feminine divine, I don't know, I want to say announcements, but I don't know. I don't want to mislead people and think and be watching or listening the media for an announcement. I think this is a very within experience, but it is a collective experience. And this kind of tells it all. This is number 19. 1 and 9 is 10, which brings us back down to the 1, which is the confirmation that I just said about it is a personal or individual experience in a collective event. I don't know if that's the right word, but that's all I could grab. There's a couple things about this card. One is, obviously, it is, solar based, and it is the ignition. Here we got ignition again. But this has to do with a lot to do with your soul star chakra, or the heart chakra. If you're doing the seven chakra system, and that's what you're based in, then it would be the heart chakra. If you're doing the 3 or 1 chakra work, then it would be the soul star chakra. And this is very interesting because yesterday I actually had an episode of, I could literally feel my heart in my physical and chakra expanding. And many times people analyze or understand or diagnose what is actually happening, and they feel that when they're feeling chest pain, there's a constriction feeling and that it's closing up, or that it is potentially the opposite of what is actually happening. Expansion has a somewhat of a, oh, here's a pun, a heartbeat to it. It has an ebb and a flow. There is a rhythm to it. So it's like giving birth. It's the dilation. So there's expansion and contraction, expansion and contraction. And especially if it is on a big level. So the other thing I want to point out is there's a couple of things. This card is very, very detailed. You notice that there is a horse. I don't know if you can see that. There is a horse glyph in the back. And this is all about freedom, free spirit, and really finding ourselves within the situation and the expansion and expansive energies that we're in. Whenever there's expansive energies happening, I like to simplify retrogrades as kind of that. And I know there's other astrologers and people who truly, truly have an understanding of astrology and planetary placements and interactions and all of that, that might kind of say, child, hush. But I have to keep it simplistic for myself, and I know there's others that also look forward to the simplicity of it. So you notice that there are hieroglyphics on, and they're spirals. Okay, I already spoke about spirals. This has much to do with ancient wisdom and knowledge, and coming into our own stance, our own freedom of our knowings and what it is and why it is and how it is. Remember, the core absolute undercurrent for what I offer is there really is no wrong. I will never project onto anyone that there is a single belief system or view that must be had. All my readings are potential. You can walk away from this reading and it will never activate or be a part of your consciousness. Other people will take this and work with it. There's no wrong. In my interpretation, actually, there is no wrong. And it took me a long time to realize that. I was trying to be right all the time, according to the rules. And I finally embraced the fact that within my existence, there's foundations, and within that foundation, there are a few restrictive rules. So this being inverted means that we're kind of topsy-turvy and not feeling particularly grounded. It would suggest that there is a need for sun-gazing, solar interaction. And here's the thing. I'd like to encourage people to explore charging your water in the solar. Lunar too, but this card is all about solar. In the sun. And that way you're continually, feeding the potentials of bringing this into balance. Of course, we're going to build on this and get further clarity on what else will assist in bringing this into balance. But for right now, this is causing some real challenge, some real struggles for many, including myself. It's the Eight of Arrows, so Eros is air. It's all about thoughts and communication, and it's a pretty big wow right now. And what I try and practice myself, and I encourage others to do, is to, when we find that we are being challenged or triggered, or there's a catalyst that has stepped forward. And by the way, we're all catalysts. It just depends what the event situation is. We all have the potential. But when that happens, I try and slow myself down and step back so that I'm not being reactive, and so that I can respond and hopefully hold meaningful and a conversation of clarity. And it might take a while to do that at this point. It might not be simple. It may be. It depends on what it is, what the situation is, and how much it means to you. The more the situation has, a meaning to you, the person is of importance to you, there may be more time needed and necessary in communication and honoring what it is that is being said on both sides. And you can see that the arrows are all around her. So it's, and they're kind of, they haven't hit her, but the struggle is not getting hit, not getting struck by an arrow. The struggle is in the avoidance, and we have a propensity that when we're challenged, well, at least I do, I don't like confrontation. It makes me very uncomfortable. And if it's somebody that I care deeply about, then it is a very heart-centered situation for me. And it becomes more of a struggle because I need to not only stay true to myself and how I'm feeling and how I'm receiving, but also the other person. So, state of grace. State of grace will really help out the struggle in communications, the miscommunications, the overreaction to communications. Whew, that was pretty big. So let's get some clarifiers. And this is the spirit animal deck. We'll see what animals or beings. Oh, that's interesting. This card has been very active in my readings lately. And for the most part, not all, but for the most part has shown up as a potential for learning lessons and growth. So fire ant. Fire ant out of balance. It's a fire card, first of all. Okay. So because of this high alert, there can be this kind of panicky feeling, and this can cause a stingingness, a short-temperedness, a hot-headedness, an inability to not react. And I just spoke about that, right? But this is kind of triggering this. You can see the trigger is in action, but we're going to get more clarity and support on this. How we bring this into balance, just as the medicine itself, fire ant medicine. Fire ant medicine in balance is all about having purpose, having duty, being focused on what your quote-unquote job is for the collective. So it's very significant. But when it's out of balance, it's all kind of helter-skelter and bickery and stingy, and yeah, it can get pretty messy. All right, so let's just, that was the whole group. I'm not accepting that. Give me more clarity on the individual and what will support. There it is, the Sun of Life. Oh, bam. Yeah, you can't really go wrong with elephant medicine. You just can't. It's another fire card. I said in the beginning that there's a fast motion here. I want to state right now that there is a need to be very conscious of our inner fire and making sure that we're not kind of losing ourselves in our passion, which can cause us to be overreactive. And the elephant steps in a very big and gentle way. There is a higher knowing with the elephant's medicine that it offers. There is auspiciousness and just a holiness to them. They are very, even though it's a fire card, they are very grounded and incredibly sensitive. So it helps kind of ground this Queen of Bows, divine feminine energy into balance. This is the grounding factor for what is going to help us through the next couple of weeks. Elephant offers, and So here's a really interesting thing about this card. If you notice, there is one broken tusk. It is also nurturing the fire, not smothering it, not fueling it, really in tune with the nurture of it. So it really confirms what I just said. As far as the tusks go, the tusks are incredibly valuable. They are divine, and I want to say divine antennas. And when I see that one is broken, it means that there has been a divine offering of wisdom, insight, and groundedness. I encouraged in a video about grounding and earthing. And just go hug a damn tree, because the trees are speaking. The trees are our immediate Gaia wisdom. And so if we commune with them at this time, I think it will have a very similar effect as the elephant medicine. And it will totally allow us to kind of bring that sun of life into balance for us. This is a gentle nurturing process. The trees, if you take it upon yourself to go hug a tree and connect with trees, there's a natural happening that will occur, that you will then, this will reverse for you, and you will be able to receive in fullness the warmth and the nurture of the soul star and the solar energy of it. There's a very amazing grounding, illuminating potential here. We just have to become conscious about, our fire. This is all about our fire, our inner passion. So although this is pointing out the heart chakra, it is also very specific to, if you do the 7 chakra system, it would be your the second chakra. And if you do the emergence of chakras, it would be, in the 3 chakras, it would be the Earth Star chakra. Wow, makes sense. So there is a confirmation of chakra work emerging slowly. I'm going very slowly with my sharing of that, because I know it's going to upheave the perception a lot of people have carried for a very long time. And so I go slow and gentle with this. So the wisdom continues. It is another fire card. Wow. All about the fire, the passion, the desires, the releasing, the letting go, and the nurturing. Cobra medicine. Look how intense that is. Yeah. But it's in balance. So if we bring this into balance, then we have a full potential of coming into our enlightened. This is all about the guru. Ancient wisdom. Ancient wisdom. It's pretty amazing. Cobra is based in patience and observation. It is steady. It is precise. And it does have the sting or the strike ability, but it isn't out of balance. So this is brought back into balance. This is brought back into balance through the process. These are the grounding forces. for us in the next couple of weeks. The grounding forces. Snake medicine in general is very, very transformative, transmutational. Also, here's the interesting thing about Cobra medicine. It brings in the element of breath. And I have spoken to several people. I may have put it even in video. I don't really retain, maybe it's a bad thing, but I don't really retain what all that I do on videos and readings and so forth. So, but I know I have spoken quite a bit about breath work and the need for breath and the need for breathing into the situation. So Cobra is really going to, elephant is the grounding force, Cobra brings the life, the stabilized, all-knowing breath into it. And here we have woodpecker as the support to bring this fire ant medicine into balance. And so another level is created, and the woodpecker is all about the rhythm, finding the flow, finding the grace within the situation. It's connecting with Gaia. Again, we have, a winged one coming in with a very grounded message to find the rhythm, to find the heartbeat and connect with it, flow with it, instead of getting irritated or snippy or closed up and not receiving what is being suggested. So now we have the transformational medicines of the butterfly to confirm that when we bring these two cards, but specifically the self within the collective, into balance and really nurture our fire in a very healthy and sacred way, that we actually, there's a self-transformation that happens. People will have a sort of aha moment where they truly feel the shift from within, and they go from being a caterpillar into a butterfly. So there's been a lot of talk about wings too. Wings can grow back. Wings can be regenerated if needed and necessary. Wings can be birthed for the first time. And wings, I was just reminded the other day by a guide to preen mine that I needed to kind of clean house a little bit in preparation. So that makes complete sense, that is the support for the process. Yeah, so the support stone for the result is you, and finding and shining. This is Father Sun. Father Sun brings us the light needed when we need to see clearly, to give us the warmth needed and necessary when we grow cold or we find our fire, our inner fire out of balance, and we're just maybe not receiving like we could. So Fire Sun steps in. There is a tremendous amount of fire element in this reading and communication. So a bottom line, one line kind of word would be conscious of your words and your thoughts. And that is your self-talk. Okay, charms. Let me cast some charms. And let's see what this brings. I hope you can see this. Yes. Okay, so we start here. The butterfly. It's inverted right now because we haven't quite reached. We got to get through this. So that's a confirmation of what is to come. This is interesting because I started out with this being divine feminine in essence. And here you have the goddess. And it is upright. And it is right under here. So this is all about us being flexible and learning and understanding and just experiencing the divine feminine. Oh, and look at this. It's an elephant. It was inverted. I think the symbolization of that is just grounding in. It didn't show all the pretty side. Okay, so that's okay. There might not be a lot of glitz and glamour to this, but there is definitely a grounding foundation of balancing and coming into inner wisdoms and auspicious understanding. So finding the balance and grounding into our passions and desires and our ability to release and let go with grace. This is fascinating because if this had shown up either on its side or upright, then it would indicate that there is complete turmoil and chaos. But it didn't. It came up face down, which means it has been put to rest. So this is a very clear reading for the next couple of weeks and what to expect. Dunk, 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 dunk. You know, alert, alert, alert. A somewhat protective, a nervous protection, actually. And she's really trying to tap in and receive, you know, ears upright. So she's in receivership, you know, for or from Creator and the universe. Her eyes are a little wild. She's not quite sure she's believing what she's seeing. And she's on the earth, but she's not. She's ready for flight if need be. So this causes this. And the communication with Gaia. I'd like to give you the visual of her then sitting calmly with 4 feet firmly on the ground, ears relaxed, and maybe some grass hanging out of her mouth. So there is a huge potential shift in the energies here as we start out. And there's some amazing inner self-work for the individual within the collective. And you can see the vast majority of charms are centered within that, confirming the goddess or the feminine divine and the support and the message to be flexible and grounded in what you know and how you know it and how you're communicating it. And then the struggle just really becomes less of a struggle, and you realize if you stand perfectly still instead of trying to traverse through it, if you have the patience to just be in it, you will receive the enlightenment needed and necessary, and the chaos will really, really diminish. All right, so final message. Blissful. So there's the potential for blissfulness And you can see she is very at peace. She is in peaceful communication. They're having their communication, their telepathic communication. And it's just a very peaceful, blissful card. So that is the one word message for the result, the potential result. And so with that, I wish you a beautiful day, evening, wherever you find yourself within the day cycle. And I encourage you to be the medicine that you seek. And with that, I offer you grace, peace in, peace out.